Hi, everybody. Happy Easter Monday. Um, Good to be here with you all again. And thank you for all the comments and messages again. I really appreciate it. As you can see, I'm in my dressing gown. I did manage to put a tiny little bit of makeup on. I was quite unwell looking and I'm not feeling great today, and I just wanted to share with you a little bit about just how some of my days are. And today is a day of anxiety, fatigue, and pain. I have pain in the area. This is where my breast lump is. It's this side here. It's on my left at the very back. And it does hurt. And, we are told, and I was indeed told when I went for tests and everything, they were saying the fact that it's sore, it shows it's not cancerous. High chances are it's not cancer if there's pain. But the last consultant I saw last week, I was saying this is sore, and I was told, and she said cancer hurts. Cancer hurts, it's a fact. So I don't know why people are told that it doesn't. So just to say, like, if anyone has any anxiety around a lump or a change in your body or a feeling of something not right, always get it checked out. We really have to take our own health into our own hands. So today's Monday, and my operation is on Thursday. I have to be in there at 7:30. My friend is going to bring me, and then she's going to go to her grandmother's for the day with Teddy. And then she's going to pick me up from the hospital, all going well, that I can leave. They have booked a bed for me in case of to stay overnight. And yeah, I still haven't received my letter from the secretary to say I have my actual operation. I haven't received my letter, and that's quite unusual, and it's a bit late. And I rang the hospital today, and they're closed for bank holiday Monday, which is normal, and that's okay. So I've to ring in the morning at 9:00 and try and figure out, is my operation, because this will be the third time that I've had a date and it's changed. So I'm a little bit anxious about that. I'm a lot anxious about that. The last couple of days I've been in a lot of pain. And when I say pain, I'm in pain at the source of the cancer, but I have a really bad shoulder. If anyone remembers, I had a frozen shoulder for almost 3 years. Came after COVID, and it was really bad. And that was the beginning of my perimenopause, and I do believe it was hormonal, and my thyroid was all over the place. My hormones, I'm sure, were all over the place. And anyway, it gave me frozen shoulder. And I remember after a lot of backing to and going to and from the doctor, eventually I was sent to physiotherapist, and they are really good. Like, she was amazing, but she said that can be hormonal. She was the one who told me it's hormonal. It can be a sign of cancer as well, blah blah blah. So this time, because this pain is really what led me, this shoulder pain, it's all in the arm, it shoots down, I can't lift it past a certain point. This kind of is what triggered me saying, oh, I think there's something there. And there was. So I'm also worried that there's cancer in my shoulder and in my bone and my rib and the usual, and that's just fact. And then when you say that to people, they say, oh, don't be silly, of course you'll be fine. And that's how people try and make you feel better, and I get it and I appreciate it, but fact is fact. It's either going to be something or it isn't, and it just makes me a little bit anxious. The other thing is that when somebody is diagnosed with a lump, it's usually removed very quickly, like within a couple of weeks, to be honest. And in my case, it has taken solid 4 months, and that's worrying for me as well. And then some people say, but look, Niamh, isn't that a good thing? It means that it's obviously they're not too worried about it. But there is a chance that when a biopsy is done and when a breast marker is put in place, and I've had 2 breast markers in now, and I've had my biopsy. They took 4 pieces out, and it's not common at all, but that can spread cancer. That can, like, little fragments of the cells can go into little areas around where they pull it, with the needle, and they're pulling it in and out. And of course, that kind of, when I'm feeling exhausted and sore, and I'm getting near the operation now, and I don't even know 100%. There was a big hullabaloo about my operation because it was meant to be on the 17th of March. Then it was changed to the 24th of April, which was a big, difference, the 24th of April. Then they asked, would I like to be operated on the 16th, which would mean I would have my consultant operate. And I said, let me check with my friend who is going to be bringing me to the hospital. She said, yes, I can change my working days. I rang them and said, I'm on tamoxifen, which is my estrogen and progesterone blocker. But that you have to stop that, a good bit before your operation, because it can cause blood clots and other complications. So I rang my cancer nurse. My cancer nurse says, yeah, well, if you stop today. So I'd taken it that morning. I said, okay, from tomorrow I won't take it. And I said, I have to contact the secretary, my consultant secretary, to let her know that I can have the operation on the 16th. I can attend. And she said, do not worry about it. I'll let her know. So then when I went in for my pre-op, they said it was the 24th. I said, no, I changed it to the 16th. And the nurse, my cancer nurse, came in to the room and kind of was saying that it was a bit of a mix-up. Almost not directly, but kind of blaming the consultant. And now the consultant was on holiday, so they couldn't talk to her, and they sent her a message, she didn't get back. But it must have been her changing things and not notifying them. But I hadn't the courage to say to the nurse, but I spoke to you. It was you I spoke to. You advised me about my medication, and you were the one said that you would notify the secretary, and the secretary then would obviously have it in the diary and everything would be fine. But I hadn't the courage. I don't know why I get like that. I just don't know what is in me that do you know what I'm afraid of? I'm afraid then they will look at me like a troublemaker, or they won't like me, or they'll treat me differently then. They'll see me as a problem, or they'll just not be, it won't be a comfortable relationship then or something. I don't know what it is. It's just that thing of like, I don't want them to be angry at me. I don't want them to be annoyed. I don't want them to, not want to deal with me, or, be like, oh, here's this one again, or whatever. I was very upset. I was so upset. The nurse that was dealing with me for my pre-op was lovely. She couldn't have been any nicer. I was a little bit surprised that my cancer nurse wasn't that friendly, and she was quite irate, and yeah, I was really shocked, because I've only come across really, really kind people. And I think maybe she was very stressed or something. It could have been a bad day for her, but I hadn't experienced that. And it just, I have to say my cancer experience with, the medical staff that I have been around now, they've all been lovely, but there's been a few mishaps here and there, and other people are saying that's not their experience at all. They've had, nothing but, if they want to spend an hour talking to the consultant, they can do that and ask questions and things like that. And maybe it's just me. I think I'm kind of taking up everybody's time, and, but So that's it. So my operation, please God, will be Thursday morning. I have to be in there for 7:30. Hopefully that means I'll have the morning slot, which I think the operation is, I don't know, within the morning anyway. I'm very nervous about going under anaesthetic because I've had problems in the past where my blood pressure drops and it's very hard for it to come back up. Yeah, I've had a couple of cases. I had my tonsils out, and I've had a couple of cervical things done as well in the past. They're called LETs, and it's basically precancerous cells. I've had 3 of those. So that's another thing that I have to be wary about as well. But they did have to. I've also had polyps on the womb removed and things like that. And they say they find it's hard to try and bring me back, basically. And that kind of just makes me a little bit nervous. You know, when I first heard I had cancer a few months ago, that was my big thing, was that I was going to die on the operating table, and what'll I do with the animals and all of that. It's kind of left me a little bit. My fear now is, you know, I hope like nerves aren't damaged, or I hope they get it all, or I hope they don't spread it by opening me up, or I hope they don't open it up and see something else, or, you know, and then they're going to take 2 to 4 of the lymph nodes out, as I said. And I said that, sorry, in a previous video. And then they take them out and then they check them. And then if there's cancer in them, I think within a couple of weeks or whenever, I don't know, I'm brought in again, and they take all of them out and then they check them. If there is no cancer in the nodes that they do take out, then I'm good to go to heal. And then I wait 2 months before I have my radiotherapy. And I'm not sure how much radiotherapy I'll have, but I think it's 10 days of radiotherapy, which is 2 weeks, Monday to Friday for 2 weeks. And I'm also waiting for results for the lining of my womb to see is that okay, because of the tamoxifen that I'm on, that can cause uterus or whatever, anyway, womb cancer. And the wall of my womb was thicker than it should be, so they had to check that. That was actually in a different hospital. That was a few weeks ago, but that takes a few weeks to come back, so I'm still waiting on that. So there's a few bits and pieces, you know, and I'm feeling a bit vulnerable. Now I'm thinking of my mum, so I'm getting emotional. I miss my mother so much. And being Easter and everything else, you know, and hearing of the Pope's death, you know, it's just a big like, oh, Mum, did you hear about the Pope or whatever? I miss her so much. You know, I've been a year without her now, living away from her, and I haven't seen her since the beginning of December. So I absolutely adore her, and there's different parts to me, you know. When I do think about her, I pray very hard that she knows that I love her and that I'm with her in her heart and she's in my heart. And then the other part of me wants to just block the fact that I'm thinking about her, and if I don't think about her, then I won't get upset. But I'm feeling, I suppose, vulnerable because I'm afraid going in for this operation, and it's not a big deal, but it's sort of a big deal. And then there are days when, you know, I'm hoovering and I'm walking the dog, and then the next day I'm just floored and I'm just so tired. And then I remember, yeah, Niamh, the doctors are saying you're meant to be completely resting. And I'm not only sore in these areas, I'm sore like my back, my wrists, my fingers, my ankles, my legs. You know, it's like fibromyalgia flare up. So I'm sore everywhere, and it's just, that can fatigue me as well. That can cause, you know, just me to be a little bit slower, and yeah, and I don't like that at all, you know, because up here I'm wired to the moon and things like that. So yeah, so that's it. So I just wanted to share where I'm at on my health really today. So I'm tired, I'm feeling vulnerable, I'm feeling a bit sad, but I'm very grateful for everything I have. I've got my beautiful Teddy and my beautiful James, my cat, and I have them here with me, and I've got my Netflix and I've got my YouTube, and I've got all you guys. Genuinely, I just feel, I was reading actually a thing, I don't follow him. Oh no, I actually did press follow actually last night for Robbie Williams, and he's taken to writing. Now maybe he's been doing it for a long time, but he's writing, and he talks a lot about that head stuff, and how he feels on a daily basis. And I do have very similar head to Robbie Williams. It's that constant just trying to fit into this world as a human being, and trying to give the best we can give, and try not to feed into what's the insecurities and all of that within us, and fear and anxiety. And and I was just, he said, in his writing piece that I was reading, that it said that, he said some people go to therapists, some some exercise, some do yoga, and some use Instagram, and some use whatever, we'll say Facebook, and some use YouTube, and some, and that is a source. And he was saying that he gets great reprieve from that, and I do too. And it's really important for me at this time in my life, with what I'm going through at the moment, to use this resource, and really just talk it out. And I just hope that, if there are any people out there suffering from anxiety, health issues, loneliness, abandonment, rejection, grief, any of that stuff, honest to God, I've got it all going on. So you're not alone. You are not alone. And, please reach out to people. Please reach out. And if you have a faith, please pray. And I know I'm praying for you. I'm praying for, all the people out there who are suffering at this moment for whatever reason. And some illnesses are invisible. And, I think a lot of people go through a lot of things. And I think people who are married or have a partner, who have children, who live in a mansion or have the best job in the world, or I sometimes think, well, how can they not be happy? And then if you think of, say, Robbie Williams, he's got the big house, he's got the wife, he's got the children, he's got the talent, he's got the career, and he's got the fans, and he's got all of that, and he's still, and if you think of all those people over the years that suffer, I think a lot about Dolores Riordan, Whitney Houston, Sinead O'Connor. There's just so many. There's that girl that did the I'm a Celebrity over in Australia, that beautiful, beautiful girl. There's so many, obviously. There's the other Robbie Williams, the other one, the actor, and a lot of people I know personally. I know a lot of people personally. I had only come over here and I'd met this beautiful, beautiful man called James. And I remember thinking, God, he could be a really good friend. I think we're going to be friends. I can see us being close. And I have a lot of male friends, and I could see him as one of them, and I really liked him and I really connected to him. And I hadn't met him, for a long time. We'd only got to know each other a bit. I only knew him a few months, maybe about, let me see, May, June, July, around 4 or 5 months, and he died by suicide. He took his life, and I knew he was going through a tough time, and so was I, and that's why I thought we'd connect. And we did connect because of that, but I thought our friendship would grow. But I think I was going through so much of my stuff and he was going through his stuff, that we just didn't kind of meet in the middle in that sense. I was there for him a little bit, but not as much as I would have normally been for somebody in those circumstances if I had been okay myself or had some sort of stability in my life, which I didn't. So, I just want people to know that life isn't easy. It hasn't been for me. There's always been something going on, and I've struggled to stay here, and and sometimes I'm at ease with, well, maybe this is it, like not immediately, but maybe in the next few months or year, like this, and even on my Facebook, I have a few friends on my Facebook who are gone now, and a few of them are from cancer, and it's like one day, you're just going along with your life, and then you just see, oh, I really miss you and rest in peace and all this on their thing, and you're like, oh my gosh, so I'm very aware of death. I'm aware of sickness. I'm aware of what can go wrong. I'm aware of what can go right as well, but I just wanted to reach out for me and for you. If you are out there and you are feeling lonely and you are feeling that despair and loneliness and isolation, I think, reach out, and if you can't reach out, just breathe and know you're not alone. And I certainly hope to be here every day for the next while anyway, and I'm going to share as much as I can about how I'm feeling, where I'm at, and I'm going to do a video now also after this on some of my most early memories of childhood and school. So anyway, that's it. Take care, everybody. God bless. Bye.